Gentlemen, as always, welcome to the Stick Niner Empire podcast. I'm here with Lucas Ortiz and Luke McLaughlin. Gentlemen, welcome to the show as always. And for you new subscribers out there, if you're not a subscriber yet, subscribe, like and subscribe because it does help out the show. Gentlemen, we got big game of the week. The Niners versus the Eagles, two of the best teams, if not the two best teams, definitely the two best teams in the NFC. I think the two best teams in the NFL. The Eagles, tell me if you guys agree with me, I don't think are the same team that they were last year. The Eagles coming in 30th in the league in third down conversions given up. I don't think that's a stat that's going to fare well. The Eagles are also 20th in points allowed in the league. I mean, I could keep going with more and more. Fourth down conversions, giving up. They're giving up thirds. They're giving up fourths. Gentlemen, I sense a victory. I don't think that they're the same team that they were last year. How do you feel about it, Ortiz?
Eagles week, man. I've been waiting for this game all season long, ever since that NFC Championship game where we lost Brock on the first drive. Didn't pretty much have a quarterback the rest of the game. And even going into halftime, I think we were only down 14-7 without having somebody that could throw a completion. So I like our chances. The teams are definitely different this year. The 49ers are coming with a better defense, in my opinion. I think the addition of Chase Young, the emergence of Ambry Thomas at the outside cornerback, and moving Diamador Lenore to the inside nickel cornerback has actually made our defense even better. There's not many holes on our team right now, and I think there are holes. I think we can score a lot of points on this Eagle defense. They've shown that this year. They're probably the worst 9-1 team I've ever seen. I mean, they were just winning.
I agree.
The closest, luckiest ref helping games I've ever seen of a team that with this type of record. And I think we're gonna bludgeon them. I don't think it's gonna be a close game. We'll get into the scores later, but my feeling right now is we're gonna run them off the field. We're gonna put them in their place on their own turf, and there's gonna be a lot of angry, pissed off Philly fans. They're already angry and pissed off to begin with, even when they win. It's gonna be an ugly scene in Philadelphia after we leave this Sunday.
It goes
They hate
back
Santa
to,
Claus.
Sorry, it goes back to that game. We haven't had an episode called "The Game That Never Happened." Right? We need a do-over bad, and I think we're poised to do it right now. We're gonna go into Philly and really stomp on them and try to get that back, because a lot of these players have a lot of pride installed in that game that never happened because Brock got hurt so early. So I think you're going to see our offense on fire. I mean, you're going to see like Debo's going to have a new look in his eye that morning. You know what I mean? Philadelphia are obviously scrappy enough to win tough games. We know that right now. That they do win, even when, like you said, their stats are not so great. They don't look like they're all that great, but they're still the Eagles. And sometimes it just means you're a really scrappy team when you can win the way they've won some of their games. So, but hopefully, I don't think that's going to be the case. That we're going to go in there and just kind of they won't know what happened to them, just like Seattle.
The Eagles have been absolutely incredible at closing out games this year. Now, here's the thing: out of the 749er wins this year, how many of those wins are blowouts? Basically 6. When the Niners win, they tend to blow teams out all year long, which is really incredible. When the Eagles win, what are they winning by? 3 to 5 points almost every game, man. I mean, if they win by 7, that's considered a lot for the Eagles.
Yeah.
And a lot of these games are getting thoroughly outplayed. Like the last game against the Bills, you can make a case that the Bills were spanking them for 3 quarters, dominated time of possession, were converting tons of third down conversions, missed some field goals. So that maybe that's one area where the Eagles do have an advantage is in the kicking game. They got a hell of a kicker. He kicked a 59-yard game-tying field goal at the end of that Bills game.
Wow.
To send it into overtime in rainy, cold conditions, which I don't know that Jake Moody can. That's the one thing that worries about me is special teams. We haven't covered well this year. We do have a good punting game. Mitch Mishwowski is probably the best punter at pinning opponents inside their 20 and inside their 10. But their field goal kicker, he's got the edge. I think he's a lot better right now than Jake Moody is.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think that Moody is a little scary. Yeah, he's kind of a big question mark because he missed those 40-yarders, right? I mean,
especially on the road.
And then he hit
in
a 52 yarder or something like,
in
but
poor
he couldn't hit it
conditions.
from 40 for a while. So you never know.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's the thing, gentlemen. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we should be 9-2, right? If he
Yep.
kicks an easy 40-yard field goal, albeit in bad conditions,
Yeah, I know.
against Cleveland, we should be going into this looking to take the lead and be the number one seed after beating Philly. But it is what it is. I do think we win Sunday. I do think Philly loses again to the Cowboys, and that should catapult us into the driver's seat heading into the playoffs. But
Yeah, because then
a
we're
lot of
going
season
right
left.
back the next week to play Seattle again, deja vu style, right? Or is that at
Oh
home?
yeah, are we scared of anybody in Seattle right now after
No.
what we just saw this past Thursday?
Yeah,
I
okay.
I'm
mean,
more
they're gonna
scared of
come
the
to
refs.
they got to
I'm
come
more,
to our house. We
Ortiz, you
pretty
mentioned
much proved
something.
that
Oh, I'm
they don't
sorry. Go
belong
ahead.
in the same field. They can't hang with us. Push comes to
Ward has
shove.
been on fire, by the way. I think Travaris Ward has looked better in the last couple of games than I've seen him all year.
He has.
Yeah.
I think all three of us would agree on that. He's been lights out the last game or two, and Lenore looked good too.
Yeah.
I wasn't calling out his name. I think they all looked good, to tell you the truth.
And now we have a cornerback that I can actually follow the best wide receiver on another team. I don't think we've had somebody do that since Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
The jersey that you're wearing, Luke. I
Yep.
mean, honestly, like we had Richard Sherman, but he played one side of the field. He was
Yeah.
at the end of his career, so he was a little slower,
For
and he
war
was
one
more of a
year only was.
physical.
I love that about Dion too. Like back in the day, they would always have him like follow the best receiver. Just
Yeah,
like
put him on
get
Michael
someone out of the
Irvin.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, put him on whoever the best wide receiver on the team was. Yeah, like he was a shadow. Like if you needed to shut down somebody, you had a guy like Deion Sanders. I think Charvarius Ward wants to be that guy, and I think he's healthier than ever, and he's able to do that. He can keep up with these physical, fast, big receivers like DK Metcalf, and now we have his ex-college teammate in AJ Brown on the Eagles.
Oh yeah.
Look for the same thing to happen. I think if we follow AJ Brown, he may not have a big game. I think he'll be a little quiet,
Yeah.
and Charvarius Ward will have a big part to play in that.
But before the last couple of games, there were so many plays where Ward would be so close to hitting the ball, away from a receiver, and it's like it just wouldn't happen. And then the last couple of games, he's hitting it every time.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I still want to see him be better at getting interceptions.
Yeah.
He's really good at batting balls down, but he just doesn't seem to have that. This we know why he's a cornerback and not a wide receiver.
Exactly.
What do you think, Mike? How do you see
think
that going down on the
well,
back?
one thing I noticed on the back end, we did not call out Jair Brown's name at all, and that what that means. That means he had a fabulous game.
Yeah,
no one was dusting him, no one was burning him. I was very impressed by the rookie. One thing about this game, gentlemen, and you brought this up vaguely, Ortiz, but I know where you're going with this. A lot of the media is starting to notice now. It seems like the refs almost, whether it's on purpose or not, have been helping out the Eagles, bailing them out. The Eagles had a 10-1 ratio on calls for them as opposed to the Bills. Eagles got 10 calls their way. The Bills got 1. I watched that game in its entirety with the 2 horse collars, and there were about 4 or 5 calls that did not go the Bills' way, that they just weren't called.
Well, not to go right back to Travarius Ward, but for a long time, it was always Ward getting called for.
He's always getting called. So that leads to my next point. He needs to be very careful in this game. Gentlemen, if we let the referees dictate this game, we're not going to win this game, I don't think. I don't think that the Niners could go in there and try and win. The Niners don't want this to be a gritty game whatsoever. I want to win. I want to be up by 10 points, give or take, with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Defense needs to hold strong early. I mean, we can't get behind by a couple of scores against the Eagles. You got to stay on top of it.
Right.
We got to have a good running game, but running game has to have a lot of yards. I think
there's gonna be a lot of emotions coming to this game. I mean, we've been talking trash ever since that game ended last year. Deebo Samuel before the Super Bowl said, most of their cornerbacks and defensive backs were trash, and that they were going to get exposed in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, and that's exactly what happened. And reporters keep going back to that same soundbite, and he's like, "I stand by it. I don't take anything back. Bradbury's trash.
Linebackers are trash. I'll tell you that much right now. They
Slay's
got a bunch of
decent.
nobody linebackers. I can't name one linebacker on that team, man.
Yeah. And this whole week we've been hearing soundbite after soundbite. They're gonna get served. Bring it back. They're talking. We're talking. I just hope when we get on the field, there's not going to be any stupid penalties. I don't want to see Dre Greenlaw hit the quarterback 5 seconds after he throws the ball, or a guy goes out of bounds and he gives him a 15 yards for free and extends a drive. Like, we can't have that. We can't have any fights. I don't want to get anybody kicked out.
Yep.
Last season, the game was out of control, but there was a big brawl that broke out. Trent Williams, he picked somebody up and he choke slammed somebody last year. So I don't want to see stuff like that.
Had a career in WWE.
I mean, it was
Got
great
out of
entertainment,
hand
but
quick.
the game's in hand. Like, let's not have any guys get tossed out of the football game.
Yeah, and for future games too.
It's going to be physical as hell, though. That's why I'm looking forward to it. I'm so amped for this game. I can't wait for Sunday.
We need to talk
about you guys.
We need to talk injuries real quick. So we know we got some updates. Are there any new Niner injuries? And then second question being, what were those few updates we had about Philly injuries?
So on the offensive line, there was some changes up front. I think we had Aaron Banks come back from his 2-week injury.
Okay.
So he was back at the left guard spot. And then John Feliciano, who was subbing in for him those 2 weeks, they actually started him at the right guard position for Spencer Burford, who I guess is dealing with a little knee injury.
Well, he's still out.
I think that's going to happen again. I know Burford's practicing limited. He may or may not play. But I wasn't mad at Feliciano at that right guard spot. I think he held his own.
Yeah.
Did give up some pressure. Did give up a couple of hits, but no sacks. I thought he was excellent in the run game, which we had a really good run attack with Christian McCaffrey and Mitchell. Mitchell ran really, really nicely. I think he's finally starting to get his legs, his feel for the game. He looked really good in his role as the backup running back. And yeah, the offensive line is starting to come together. We got a couple guys out, but it's neither here or there. Like, Brock Purdy has proven, no matter who's blocking for him, he can get the ball out quick. I think he's learned from that Philly game. He gets rid of the ball much faster. He has to
in this game. He needs to. No play action. I hope we don't see any play action. Maybe one play here or there.
No, we need to run play action. That's actually a big part.
I don't want to see any of that, man. That's what's going to get him killed.
If he doesn't double pump, he doesn't get injured in that game.
I got to see the flea flicker.
This is the way I'm looking at it, gentlemen.
I love that Debo flea flicker because he could run too. It's a great play. It's got to work next time.
It'll work at some point, definitely. Here's the way I look at it, gentlemen. They got one soft corner. They got one okay safety. They got 3 very average linebackers. Quick passes all day. Let's not get Purdy killed out there. If we can protect Purdy, we will win this football game.
Yep. Rely on the yak.
Let's just not get him hurt. Let's not put him in harm's way. I'm down to do a little play action here and there, but I don't want to do a lot of it. You're just asking for.
I think it actually slows down the rush if you don't play action enough. I think it's a huge part of our game. Those guys just, maybe they don't get to the quarterback, but they're hitting the quarterback. Or if they pressure the wide receivers and nobody's open, you gotta slow down that pass rush some way. And I think a good way to do that is to run the ball first and then play action off of that. Not all the time, but you do need to have a decent amount of play action football. That's our team. That's what's been most successful for us ever since Kyle Shanahan took over the team.
Yeah,
I'd be hitting him with short and mid passes all day.
That's the thing.
I know you're scared, but
that's their weakness: short and mid passes. I'll hit him with short and mid all day.
No risk it, no biscuit. I once heard.
And then hit him deep when they least expect it. Yeah. Then I hit him deep with a play action when they least expect it.
Usually his game plans are a lot like kind of like Bill Walsh had, like where he scripts most of the plays and he knows what he's going to do, and he'll take his shots when he can. That's why I think he's really good at that. Like, they need to do some shorter passes probably against the Eagles. You're right, but but then you gotta just know
haven't been.
when to hit Ayuk on the deep ball. And I think that's what they're starting to get in their stride with. There's a lot of chemistry going on right now with our receivers. It's really exciting to watch.
Purdy and Ayuk are bonding
It's
very
just,
well. So and I love the
he's like
fact that
hitting him in
Purdy,
stride, like Jared. That's like
yeah,
Montana Rice shit.
and he's taking a chance. Even if that wasn't his main receiver, he wasn't supposed to look that way like he did in the Seattle game. And the coach was like, Kyle was like, he wasn't supposed to even look there, really. Like
Yeah.
that was all on Purdy and Ayuk being a good combination, him finding him deep, splitting the defensive backs in the end zone. That was a great play, man. That
Yeah.
sealed the game for us. Great play.
And that was a play that Kyle didn't think he was going to throw. He thought it was more set up for a check down to Kittle, I think. And Brock saw it right away. He knew exactly where to throw the ball before Ayuk was even in his break. He put it right on his hand. That is so high level.
Great pass.
I mean, I've seen other, experts break down that play in slow motion and just say like, all right, this is not a normal throw that any quarterback can throw. This is not a system quarterback throw. This is elite Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type shit.
Yeah.
And we need to just, revel in how amazing that throw was. I mean, that was incredible. We haven't seen the quarterback do that since probably Jeff Garcia. Like, I don't remember Alex Smith making those types of throws.
Yeah.
I do remember
Right.
Garcia making those type of high level throws. Definitely Steve Young and Joe Montana. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Garcia threw some nice passes to Terrell Owens like that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Purdy's got the best instincts for a quarterback that we had in a long, long time. And he took the chance on that pass, even though it wasn't really scripted for him to go that deep, like you said, and he took that chance, and I loved it. But it was a calculated chance. He's got so much touch, man. Right now, I got to put him in the top 5 as far as touch goes. He can make some nice passes when he needs to.
And like the other thing I really liked about this last game, so he didn't have a perfect game. He did throw a pick 6, but I loved what happened after the pick 6. Everybody that talks about Brock Purdy says he is unfazed by making a mistake. He doesn't linger. He doesn't let him, he doesn't start second guessing himself and not taking chances. That perfect pass to Ayuk came after that pick 6. A lot of quarterbacks crumble after making mistakes like that. They start to, turtle and just let it affect the rest of the game. And he doesn't do that. He's cool, calm, collective. He's not a rah-rah guy. He doesn't get up too high. He doesn't get down too low. He stays very even keeled, and I think people love that about him, especially on the team.
I think you're right, and also just that he's a class act, man. Like,
yeah,
I love the interviews. Right, when you hear an interview, he's always all about the team. It's never about him. He never tries to be like, I don't know. Some of our like even Garoppolo wasn't very good at that sometimes. So, I think I like that. Purdy always is kind of like he'll take responsibility for everything, but it's like a team effort,
Yeah, he always highlights his team, always thanks them first.
Yeah.
Never takes all the credit, which is it's kind of a theme on this team. I think guys like Bosa and Kittle, they're very similar in their personalities. They're always, thanking the other guys on the team, the offensive linemen, the coaching staff, their fellow teammates. They're quick to praise others and slow to take credit for themselves. McCaffrey's same way.
Yep.
He's always giving love to the offensive line.
Yep.
It's not about him, it's about the team.
That's awesome.
Gentlemen, in regards to injuries to Philadelphia, Fletcher Cox, I believe, is injured. I don't believe he's playing. Their right guard is hurt. He's still kind of like in limbo. They're trying to put him out there if possible. Let's get into down in the trenches with Ortiz a little bit more, man. How do you feel that our O-line is going to stack up to their D-line? Because to me, Ortiz, that's really what's going to decide this game. That's my opinion. How do you feel like we can stack up? Obviously, we've been playing better on the O-line, even without the stars, man. Kyle Shanahan has some way every year of doing a patchwork O-line, and he gets these guys to like play better than what they are in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah. So, if you look at PFF grades and things like hurries and pressures and sack rates, we haven't done great this year. We're very below average when compared to other teams in our pass protection. We are very good at running the ball. I think we're top 10 running the ball in the league. We have the top rusher in the league and Christian McCaffrey. But spots that I do worry about are the right side in particular the right tackle spot. That's typically where Hassan Reddick lines up. Of course, everybody remembers he's the one that injured Brock Purdy. He's a really good pass rusher. Doesn't play the run all that well. That's one way we can't expose him, but he does have good get off. He's very fast. He's very explosive. We're gonna have to give him a little help, and we definitely can't block him with the tight end. So, let's scheme our offensive protection to be a little more, wary of that side. In the run game, I think they have a really good run stuffing D tackle in the rookie Jalen Carter. The guy's just a massive human being. He might be bigger than Javon Kinlaw and Trent Williams. Like that dude is nasty. I just watched the Bills game last week, and he's a really hard, difficult guy to block. He gets a lot of push from that D tackle position, and that's another guy we gotta maybe look to double team a little bit more than not. But other than that, I think we have the advantage with Trent Williams. I think we have the advantage on the left side in general with Aaron Banks back and Trent Williams. They make each other that much better. And Brock is the best. He's the best pass protection weapon that we have. He's the best quarterback of getting rid of the ball with a bad pocket, meaning like the pocket's collapsing. He has to move around. He has to be elusive, or he has to get rid of the ball quick. And he's had the worst pocket of any quarterback and the most production at the same time, which goes to show you, like he's a different quarterback than he was last season.
Makes great decisions.
He's gotten better.
Out there, for sure.
I would imagine I'm sorry, go ahead. I would imagine his pre-snap must be
pass
great
protection because he knows when he needs to get rid of the ball.
Yeah,
his pre-snap must be unbelievable. Then, like he's figuring everything out. It's just it seems easy for him.
Yeah,
you could almost say like he's figuring it all out.
Most quarterbacks get rid of the ball when the guy's open. He gets rid of the ball when the guy's about to be open.
Yeah.
Which is, that could be the difference between getting sacked and getting injured and not. So he may not have the cleanest pockets. Statistics go to show that he doesn't, but he's getting rid of the ball quick. And when there are would-be sacks, he's been able to get out of it for the most part. I mean, he's got sacked a couple times last game, but he's avoided a lot of sacks as well. It could have been a lot worse.
I saw on YouTube they had someone put together all of Trent Williams's plays, basically, all his highlights of the whole game, like one after another. Pretty amazing to watch that video, because then you get a different perspective. Like you watch the game and they show you what they show you, but you see what these linemen are dealing with on every play and how good he is at it. It's phenomenal just to watch. There's just a camera basically on him the whole time. Yeah, and it was awesome.
Yeah, usually the only time you hear their names called out is that they make an amazing block, pancake, leading the way out on a big play, or they give up a sack or a penalty. So yeah, it's kind of cool when you see those highlights and you just see like, man, this guy's a machine. He just does not give up sacks.
He does. Yeah.
He moves the guy back more times than not on the run plays, and
he's quick.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
He gets around when he's doing that. He's fast. I think that helps a lot. Even on the bad ankle, he's still pretty quick.
Yeah,
not fast. Yeah, he's quick.
Rango.
Yes.
What's on your mind? I can see the gears turning. I know you got something important to say.
No, not necessarily. I was wondering about scores, believe it or not. See how you guys feel about it.
Let's get into that. Let's
not so much. I want to see how you guys are feeling. I'm gonna say I agree with you, Ortiz, that I really do believe, gentlemen, that they can win by double digits. Now, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, obviously, but I just don't see them winning by 3 points. I really do. I'm going to say 7 to 10 points. So I'm going to say 28-17. Niners victorious. And I agree with you on the chances of Philly possibly losing the next game. I sense another loss for them.
Nice.
I think we're going to score a lot of points. I think we're going to score 38. I do think we're going to give up 21, but that's still a blowout.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be kind of a blowout where they maybe score a couple meaningless touchdowns in the fourth quarter after it's out of hand. Maybe you got the backups in. I think CMC has a monster game, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the 1 receiving. I think Brock silences every critic he's ever had. There's not that many left, but the one or two out there are going to be completely quiet after this game because he's going to have a great game. And yeah, the defense is going to shine. Let's get those sack numbers up again. I think they're going to rush smart. You can't rush too crazy. We'll try to get too much out of your lane when you're rushing against the Eagles because they do have a tremendous quarterback. Jalen Hurts can scramble. He can hurt you with his legs. He can hurt you with his arm. I'd rather try to see him hurt us with his arm and bait him into some mistakes, get some interceptions.
He will make a mistake too, just about in every game
too. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't want to
lose a fumble or something.
I just don't want the back-breaking scramble for 30 yards on a 3rd and 15. Those kinds of plays are just they're backbreakers. So
what worries me about them. I can't stand that push tush, man. They need to ban that thing. Now almost every team in the league is using it.
The brotherly shove.
They're so good at it.
Oh, okay.
Ortiz, maybe you could lighten us a little bit on this. What is
it's
it
a
about
rugby play? It's a scrum. It's not really a football play. Like there's a quarterback sneak, which we've all seen for 30, 40 years. I mean, Joe Montana used to run that. Tom Brady was really good at it. Jimmy Garoppolo was actually a really good quarterback sneaker.
Yeah.
But this is different. This is guys getting behind the quarterback, and he doesn't try to dive and get 1 or yards. They're rugby scrumming to get 2 or 3 yards on a.
One guy's holding 2 butt cheeks and he's pushing that guy into another man. I don't know about that.
And last season, you guys, we featured that play on our intro that was taken at the stadium.
Yeah, the guy who makes that play. Strong. I don't think they would be quite as successful if they didn't have him is the center, Jason Kelsey. He's so damn good. He's one of the best centers of all time. I will give him that. He's a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. He gets so damn low, it's impossible to get underneath him and get leverage to push him out.
Yeah,
and he's willing to just have everybody pile on top of him and
they never fail on that, man. I mean, you rarely. I can't recall the last time I saw that play not work for them. They did it throughout the whole Super Bowl, throughout the whole playoffs, and no one was able to stop it. Now almost every team does it. I think everyone except for the Chiefs. I heard one of the announcers say recently, everyone they don't want to jeopardize Mahomes like that. But hey, you never know. Maybe one of these quarterbacks get hurt one day doing that.
I don't know if they'd ever do it, but if the Niners ever needed to do a tush push, I say we put Trent Williams at center and just
that'd be the way to go.
Got to be at least 10 yards, right? You just follow him. Who's going to push that guy back?
Yeah. Going back to the D line, I like that we're able to get pressure without having to actually blitz, so we can leave the guys we need to out in the secondary, and that's been working for the Niners all year. And now that we have Chase Young, it's going to work even better, right? I mean, it's starting to work even better. They're starting to click out there. And Armstead gets in on the mix now. It's all, and guys like Chase only help guys like Armstead because he needs other people in order to get to the quarterback, and now he's got him,
Yeah. Oh, one thing real quick. I think I heard Armstead did not practice.
Oh, okay.
Dealing with the foot problem.
Oh, wow.
Don't know if it's serious yet, but I'm hoping it's not any plantar fasciitis like he dealt with last season. That kept him out 4 or 5 games. So did not practice. We'll see how it goes the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Look for updates and things like that. But
I hope it's just a precaution,
Yeah. And Spencer Burford limited in practice. We already spoke about that.
So I'm gonna say
scores.
Yeah, I gotta get you a score here. So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna go up early. We'll be up 3 touchdowns early, but that's when we get too comfortable. Then they start to come back, and then the 3rd or 4th quarter they tie it up, and then it goes in OT, and then we win in OT with a 60-yard field goal.
Here we go.
You got us winning in overtime, man. I don't want to get to overtime. I don't want it to be a close
game.
Either,
but that's the kind of game I see. They're scrappy. They'll hold right on to the end, and then we'll beat them.
Yeah, well, if it goes down like that, it'll be the first tight game we won this season.
Yeah.
Gonna 0 for 2 this year.
Yeah, no.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to get that tight game out of the way, so to speak. I think the team needs it, but I do not want to go into Philly and leave this up to the referees. I'm telling you, they'll ruin the game for you.
I mean, I hope it's not close, but I just have a feeling it's the way these teams play each other. It's going to be tough out there, and especially the Niners. The Niners want revenge, man. We need to win this game to show them that was bullshit.
Not sure if you guys have checked out the weather yet, but it looks like it's going to be cold and rainy as of now. So weather could play a part in decisions made, game planning, ball security.
Hopefully no wind. Hopefully no
ball security
wind.
could be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully no wind. Yeah, if you got to deal with the rain, at least let there not be wind, hopefully, because that puts the kicker out of sorts. Go Niners!
Go Niners.
Niners, baby.
Later.